So I'm dealing with your alcohol problems because he admits he has that. I'm dealing with the fact that you come home late most nights. I'm dealing with infidelity. I'm dealing with cocaine. I'm dealing with bad debt. I'm dealing with a husband who is jealous of his wife's success.
So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. In our previous videos, we had covered the background story of Queen of Afrobeat, TIWA Savage, how she quit from her job as a songwriter with Sonny, moved back to Nigeria, began a record label with her business partner turned husband, T-Bills, how she began recording growth and success, and how what seemed like out of the blues, T-Bills took to Instagram to call his wife out, accusing her of gross neglect and negligence of wifely duties, as well as infidelity and so many others, while also dragging her mother, accusing his mother-in-law of witchcraft and being the reason why he hadn't succeeded in any business. If you're yet to watch those videos, I strongly recommend that you do, so you can get an insight as to what today's video is about. So search on the channel, watch them. I'm also going to leave the links down in the description box. The last video ended with that sudden erratic outburst by T-Bills on Instagram, and I did mention that TIWA responded. Let us listen to what she had to say. But before we proceed with this video, a quick reminder: if you're new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you have been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Oh yeah, hit it. It's free of charge. Give this video a thumbs up. Oh yes, click the like button. Drop your comments as we proceed, and stay glued, for we have so much more coming your way. Responding to her husband's outburst on social media, TIWA disclosed that she had suffered and covered up for a lot of hurt in her marriage. She said that first, the marriage was premised on deceit, that he disclosed to her of the children and the baby mama in America, but didn't tell her that he had another family, another child and baby mama in Nigeria.
I didn't know about the other child, apart from the two that he tells everybody on social media. I didn't know about the other
I was going to ask about this, is it true that he has a child in Nigeria too?
Yes.
Apart from the ones in America?
I didn't know about those.
Secondly, she accused T-Bills of an absolute neglect of his financial responsibilities. She said that since their child was born, from antenatal to the cost of delivery to traveling to clothes to diapers to food, that her husband had not brought out 1 naira, 1 kobo to contribute in the house or contribute for their child. That even the flight that brought him to London to see the child, she was the one that had to handle it, had to handle his shopping when he came to London. In fact, at all.
I covered up so many times. Since my son has been born, TJ has not spent 1 naira. I paid for hospital bills. I paid for his flight to come to London. I paid for the apartment, the hotel, the short stay we stayed in for 2 months, the groceries we did, the clothes, the pushchair, the nursery, everything. Even while we were in London, we went shopping for him, TJ, not just my son, for TJ, so that when we come back to Nigeria, he will have new things.
She revealed that it's not like he wasn't making money. He, as her manager, got a whopping 40% off every deal, every business that came, but he would never buy a tin of milk or singlets for his child. He would rather use it for self-absorbed purposes. She cutting his hair twice a week, carving his beards. The sharp line in the beard is capable of peeling yam. That he left every single financial responsibility in the house to her to bear.
Out of the 3 million, he's still receiving his management fee of 40%. He'll tell me he doesn't have money to buy diapers or anything, but he has money to get haircuts twice a week. He has money to do laundry. He has money to take women to hotel rooms.
And while she struggled under the enormous financial responsibilities, she kept on projecting and pushing out the narrative that he was taking care of her. T-Bills bought this one for me. T-Bills is the man of the house. He paid for this while she was the one doing everything.
I wanted people to believe this story of TJ is the one that takes care of me. TJ is the head of the house. TJ is a loving husband. TJ is the one that made me, took me from nothing to something. I wanted people to believe that. I wanted him to feel like a man. I covered up so many times.
She went further. That not only was he failing to provide, okay, you don't want to provide, Abi, it's all right, but at least do not wreck the family's finances. She claimed that her husband was a chronic debtor, so big on the fake life and the larger-than-life image. And he would go around buying exotic cars on credit, buying Rolex wristwatches on credit, going to the club and splurging money and expensive drinks and leave without paying. And he was going around accumulating debts. And because of her image, these people will reach out to her and tell her, threaten her that if she doesn't pay, they're going to go public, they're going to go on social media. And to save herself that embarrassment and save her husband and the family that shame, she would go around settling his debts and still protecting his image because she wouldn't want it to look as if she's the one that paid. So she would put the money into his account and then stay and supervise him to pay, just for him to feel like a man. So while she was shouldering all the financial responsibilities at home, she was still going around settling the debts that he incurred.
But TJ loves to keep up with the Joneses. He wants to live a life that is not true. So you don't have steady income coming in right now, but you want to live larger than life. He went to buy a car, that's a Mercedes, that he knew he didn't have enough money to pay. The person who he had owed the balance to kept on calling and calling that he wants his balance. I ended up paying the balance. When it was time to pay, I put the money in his account so that he can pay the person he owed, so that they won't know it's really coming from me. He also went out to buy a Rolex watch, and he didn't end up paying. He couldn't finish paying the balance. And so they called me as well. I'm also, because I'm always scared that I don't want it to get out in press, because a lot of people use that to threaten me sometimes, that if your husband doesn't pay, we're going to go to press. Why are they going to press? Because they know my name, TIWA Savage's husband. And all the time, because I'm always trying to avoid this, I'll find a way to find money to put in his account so that he can pay and pay off the debt. You're putting us in debt all the time. You're going out to clubs, carrying women to clubs, spending money on drinks, then you leave the tab, you don't pay it, the club owner will call me and I'll end up going to pay, or sending my assistant to pay, or putting the money into your account so you can pay off. All the time. And the worst, the last thing that happened that I think really triggered this whole thing was that he went to borrow money from someone for 45 million. 45 million naira.
TIWA didn't stop there. She exposed the husband for stealing from her. So aside from the sharing quota, where he was already getting 40% of all the business deals, she said the husband was siphoning company's proceeds into his personal account without telling her. And she cited an example of this wedding that she was supposed to perform abroad, and they had a company policy that no performance until full payment is made. And she kept on waiting for payments, just a few minutes. She kept on, because she had worked with those people and they do not owe. So she was concerned and she was telling T-Bills, what's the matter? These people have not paid. I'm not going to perform. And he was telling her, just go and perform. Just go. And out of sheer curiosity, she met the organizer and asked them, what is the matter? You guys are not usually like this. Why haven't you paid? And the man was like, what? We paid months ago. Your manager provided his personal account, not the business account. And then that was when she realized that T-Bills had been stealing from the business and siphoning company proceeds for his personal use. And what was he using it for? He wasn't using it at home, according to what she said. He wasn't doing anything, no bills, no expenses, no rent. She was doing everything. So what was the money going to? She gave a hint.
He was my manager. He was booking events and he would book shows. The first time I realized that there was some kind of foul play was he booked me for a wedding in London, and I kept on, company policy is that you don't go to the event until they pay you full. So as normal, I was like, okay, is this event still happening? He said, yeah, I'm in London already, and I'm calling the accountant that, okay, can you confirm payment has gone, everything is cool for me to perform? She said, they still haven't paid her. So I called TJ and I said, TJ, these people haven't paid. And TJ is like, no, just go, just perform, don't worry, everything is fine, just go and go. I said, but TJ, you know this is not right, we don't normally do this. He said, don't worry. Fortunately for me, I know the guy that was one of the people organizing the wedding. So I pulled him aside and I said, sorry, boss, I know you, you're not like this. What's going on with payments? It's not fair. I'm already here. It's an hour to the reception. I'm supposed to perform. And he told me, what are you talking about? We've paid from about 4 months ago. And he said they paid X amounts of money into such and such account, which was TJ's personal account, not company account. The other thing was TJ declared that the show was for, I'll give an example, the show was for 3 million, but they really paid 4.5. And then out of the 3 million, he's still receiving his management fee of 40%.
Next, she accused her husband of drug use and abuse. She said that yes, he was a chronic alcoholic, always drunk and all of that. But that she was shocked one day to run into him taking cocaine. And that's a very expensive drug.
I didn't even know he takes cocaine. I was upstairs recording with spells. I noticed he was downstairs for a long time. I even came downstairs thinking maybe he was warming food or something. I walked into the kitchen, his back was turned, so I literally was standing there and I saw him.
Smoking?
Yeah. So I screamed, TJ! He turned around, quickly the paper, put it in his pocket, but he still had white powder on his nose. So I said, what? I screamed, is that cocaine? He started screaming at me, what am I doing down here? What am I talking about? What cocaine? Am I crazy? Where's the cocaine? Where is the cocaine? I've come again. So the first thing I did was call his parents that, come on, your son, no. Weed, I can even say I can manage. Alcohol, but cocaine. How does someone that claims he doesn't have money take cocaine? Cocaine, from what I understand, is for rich people, no?
She accused T-Bills of all-round irresponsibility, that he would dress up and go out in the night and not come back till the next morning by 7 a.m., sometimes the next afternoon. She admitted that yes, she is the very busy one, traveling, getting booked, going for shows, photo shoots, brand endorsements from one country to the other, providing for the family. So certainly she may not have been on ground to ask him, what are you going to eat for breakfast? What are you going to eat for lunch? But she took out the time to ensure that she hired a chef and other domestic staff that would care for him in her absence and as she's busy. But that how could she have monitored what he's eating and what he wasn't eating when he's coming back home by 2 p.m. the next day? What happiness, what joy would she have to make all this little catering?
And because I know what my schedule is, I had to hire a cook. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. To hire somebody to be cooking in the house for him and myself and the other people that live in the house. He said I don't ask him if he's hungry, which is a lie. But even if it's true, the things he puts me through will not even encourage me to want to ask, my husband, have you eaten? When you come home, you go out and you come home at 7 in the morning, the next morning, sometimes 2 p.m. the next morning. Am I going to cook for someone that's not in the house? You come back drunk. You come back angry. You come back, we're living on eggshells. We never know what mood he's in.
On the accusation of her mother being a controlling witch that is impeding his success and causing his stagnancy, she claims that her mother does not even live in Nigeria. Her mother is resident in the UK. So what opportunity did she have to come and control him and execute her witchcraft in the home? She claimed that on the contrary, her mother is even the one, when she tries to get upset at his behavior, that calms her down and encourages her that it is the woman that built the home. She should take it easy. She should not be offended. That her mother is a very nice, pleasant, and easygoing, humble woman.
Now, my mom is based in the UK. If anybody has ever met my mother, she's not like that. She's a sweet lady. In fact, she's very British, so she's not hung up on traditions and cultures sometimes. You know, she doesn't judge. My mom would say to me, Tiwa, you're the wife. Be patient. You just have to stomach a lot of things. The woman is the one that builds the home. She's been nothing but a great support.
And finally, on the accusation of infidelity, on this one, she busted into tears and she said that she had never ever stepped out of her marriage. She has never cheated on her husband and he knows it.
I have never cheated on my husband. Never. Not with Don Jazzy, not with Dr. Sid, not with Two-Face, not with anybody. And I'm willing to take a lie detector test for that. I have never cheated on my husband. And Tunji knows this. He knows that in his heart.
She announced that she was done with the marriage. Not just for one thing, for an accumulation of many things, but one single one was the last straw that broke the camel's back. And she narrated that shortly after they welcomed their first child, she discovered that she was pregnant for the second. But of course, she had to carry the pregnancy and work. She was like literally the breadwinner. So she traveled to Jamaica for a video shoot. And while she was working, she suffered a miscarriage. She said that she was rushed to the hospital. She was crying, she was hysterical, she was so distraught. And in that moment of pain and shock and vulnerability, she sent pictures of the blood and the loss and the tears and you know, the whole thing to her husband. He looked at it, it was delivered, it was seen, it was read, and he didn't say a word. He ignored it. And even when she called and called and called him, she needed him so badly. He didn't pick up the call, he didn't respond. He didn't call back.
I started bleeding uncontrollably. So I started panicking. I I called TJ, I took pictures and sent it to him. Then I kind of passed out and they rushed me to the hospital. I had complications. At one point I was trying to reach him and I couldn't get through to him. I got discharged from the hospital. I was trying to call TJ to let him know what happened. He didn't call to see how it was, what happened. Everything happened. I got back to Nigeria.
So after she was discharged from the hospital in Jamaica, she came back to Nigeria. And on that night when she arrived, by 2 a.m. in the wee hours of the morning, somebody was calling her husband's phone. She was wondering, who is calling my husband by this time? Oh, Guinea. And when she picked up the phone, she saw the number that was saved as Edible Catering. She wondered, why is a catering company calling my husband by 2 a.m.? What is the matter? And when a message dropped and she opened it, she saw an array of messages being exchanged by that Edible Catering and her husband. And the last one was the Edible Catering saying, I was sleeping when you left. You left early by 7 a.m. You knocked me out. You knocked me out. So I was still fast asleep when you left.
And while we were sleeping, his phone was going off. And it was in the middle of the night. And I kept on seeing, he saved the numbers Edible Catering or something like that. To me, that didn't make sense. Why is a catering company calling somebody at 2 a.m. in the morning? And yes, as a woman, I picked up his phone and I went through his phone and I got into his WhatsApp and there's a long conversation with this same edible number saying, can we meet at the hotel tonight? Do you live alone? Is it okay if I come by? Then the last message that I saw between them was she saying, I had to leave at 7 a.m. this morning. You were sleeping when I left. And he now responded, wow, yeah, because you knocked me out last night. It was a great night. So obviously I wake him up and I'm like, what's going on? And he said to me, it's not what I think. I said, did this all happen in our bed? He said, no, it was in a hotel. So I said, you took another woman to a hotel room? He said, yeah, but nothing happened. That they were just chilling in the hotel till 7 in the morning, just you and another woman. And he wanted me to believe that. The thing that hurt me the most was this happened the period I was in Jamaica and I was in the hospital. And I sent TJ pictures, which I have. Sent TJ pictures and he was busy in a hotel with another woman while I was in a hospital and I couldn't reach you and you couldn't even be bothered to find out how I was. These are the pictures I sent of what happened. Blood everywhere, me in the hospital, and he didn't respond. At this point, I'm done.
Whoa. So she thought to herself that while she was in Jamaica, suffering a miscarriage and losing their child, calling him and he was ignoring her. He was in bed, pleasing another woman, showing horsepower and knocking a lady out in a hotel room. She said that she was done. Filled with pains, she said that she saw the red flags when they were dating, but she ignored them. And she called her marriage to T-bills a mistake. She admitted that he had never hit her. He had never been physically violent towards her. But the mental torture, the psychological trauma of having it repeated to her every day of her life that I made you, I picked you from the gutter, I made you who you are. You owe your existence to me. If not me, you would have been this ugly girl rotting away. The trauma of having that drummed into her head every single day was damaging. She concluded by apologizing to him if there was any way she had wronged him and she didn't know, and that she would never ever stop him from having a good relationship with their son. These are what TIWA had to say about her husband's allegations. What are your thoughts? You've heard from T-Bills, you've heard from TIWA. Begin to share your thoughts down below. I have quite a lot I would have loved to share that I would like us to learn from. But since there's still a lot of details that we have to cover, I will just drop one or two. I honestly believe that this relationship dynamic between TIWA and T-Bills is in fact very sensitive and one of the most difficult dynamics in a marriage to manage. And if the parties involved are not mature and humble, such marriages cannot work. You see, when it's the husband that is fully responsible for financial provision, the responsibilities of the wife is clear and it's not in question. It is not in argument. It is not in dispute. It is not debatable. It is clear and it is usually carried out well. But where the tables are turned and it's the woman who is out there providing, fully in charge of running the home financially, the responsibility of the man still remains blur. For the woman, when you have a husband who is fully financially providing for you, it goes without saying, it's without question that you need to be in charge of cooking and cleaning and running the administrative part of the house, ensuring that the children's clothes are okay, they're ironed, the home is running, things are getting fixed, inter-house sports, school runs, lesson, medical, the child needs to go to the hospital, all of these other functions, that it becomes your duty. But where the woman is the breadwinner, especially in the African or Nigerian setting, there are still a lot of expectations on the other side of responsibilities, and that can bring about friction and tension. Then there is the part of the fame and the money getting into the head of the woman, which sometimes is true. With some certain level of financial freedom and autonomy, the independence and self-sufficiency that it comes with can sometimes, even without one knowing, bring about some assertions and involvement in decision making that may rub off as getting in the head. So it's possible that such independence or position can indeed get in the woman's head. Let us not dispute that it happens, but it is also possible that it didn't get in her head, but there is already the assumption and the suspicion that it is getting in ahead. For example, I'll give you an example. A man who is the full provider of the house takes his wife. They want to go shopping for furniture. And he sees a couch, a sectional that he likes. And he's like, I like this one, baby. Let us buy this one. He is the breadwinner. He's the one with the money. But the woman goes like, baby, this one, no, see how ugly it is. I don't like this one. It's not going to fit our living room. No, baby, let us pick this one instead. This one goes more like it's for me. The man may be like, women, you buy your taste. All right, please pack this one for her. Come and bring your card, bring your POS. He will see it as a woman just being opinionated and choosy, and it's cute, she's making her choice, and he's feeling like a man. Oh, my babe, my wife made that choice. His manhood is not invalidated. His ego is not bruised. He's not reading an ulterior motive. It's not demeaning to him because he is the one paying. Let us flip the script. So the woman is the breadwinner. She's the one that has the money. And they go to buy that same sectional. And the man picks, and the woman is like, no, baby, how can you pick this thing? This thing is ugly. Oh. I don't like it. Let us pick that one. Immediately, it registers in that man's head that what? It is because she is the one paying. The meaning and interpretation it had in scenario 1 will be different from scenario 2. Do you understand? You don't? Let me give you one more example. A man at night tells his wife that, oh, baby, that's my cousin. She's in town, no? I would like her to come and stay with us for about 2 or 3 weeks, help us around the house. And maybe this cousin has come before and was not supportive, was problematic, was not helpful around the house, and his wife didn't quite enjoy her stay. If the man is the one financially in charge of the house, the woman might be like, baby, no, I don't want her to come. I beg, let her just stay with her wahala. The last time she came here, she was just giving me headache. She was not helping me, just littering the house. Please, let her just stay. The man might be like, okay, no wahala. Or the man might now insist, baby, don't worry, let her just stay. It's just 2 weeks. He will not read it in a different way. But when the woman is the one paying the rent in that house and financially in charge of that house, and he comes up with that suggestion of his cousin coming to stay for a month, and she says, no, let the cousin not come, he would interpret it as belittling him, belittling his authority, because she is the one paying. If I was the one paying, would she have the guts to tell me that I cannot invite my cousin? So it's already a very dicey and sensitive situation, and the woman will find herself in a position where she has to overcompromise and overcompensate and be overtly sensitive, and things that she could have normally said or done, she's now being cautious, overtly cautious, so she wouldn't bruise the man's ego or make him feel less than a man. It is a very, very difficult dynamics in the marriage, especially an African marriage where African men pride their identity, pride themselves, and create their identity in their ability to provide in their work. So it is very dicey. It will take a certain level of maturity from both the man and the woman for such a marriage to not only work, but to work happily. In a marriage, working does not mean that it's a good marriage. To work and thrive happily. So let us begin to drop our experiences, our thoughts and our comments down below. So that was how the marriage between TIWA and T-Bills hit the rocks. And although they attempted reconciliation the next year in 2017, it did not work. And by 2018, the divorce was finalized. T-Bills will then go ahead to father yet another child with a fourth baby mama, thus getting him to the record of his father, who he despised so much for doing the exact same thing. Patterns. Well, we have to give it up to TIWA and T-Bills for the maturity that they exhibited in co-parenting their son. They did their best to ensure that their son does not get the short stick, the hard end of their divorce. They did so well co-parenting together, and T-Bills would often take to social media to heap praises and accolades on TIWA, praising her that even when he cannot provide, she would provide to their son and make it seem like it came from that. He took to social media to give her props for covering him and making him have a good relationship with their son.